Today, I'm going to be talking about the life path number 8. Now to start off, 8 is the number of power, money, lessons, karma, bosses, manipulation, and planning. Now the first thing you notice about an 8 is that they're very bossy. But this actually works for either a negative or a benefit. And because of this bossiness, they can either come off as a control freak or they can come off as a well-organized manager that knows how to make all the pieces and all the people work correctly. Now, if we look at 8, it's constantly making that figure 8 infinity motion. If you were to imagine this motion like a person and their mind, you can see it as the past and the future. And that's what the life path 8 is always in. They're always either 800 steps in the past or 800 steps in the future, which is why 8 is the number of anxiety, because they are unable to live in the present and be in the moment because they're always thinking about what has happened and what will happen. And they actually have vivid visions of both. Because of the 8's ability to look so vividly in the past, they make some of the best teachers from experience. Some of the best bosses and CEOs have 8s attached to them, whether it's their birth date or it's the life path that's attached to them. 8s also have a future sight, which is why 8 is the number of manifestation. Just as they can be an anxious deterrent by constantly having to look in the future, an 8 that can use their power correctly is able to look into the future and make whatever they want happen just by visualizing it. Because of that looping that 8 is doing, 8 is also the number of karma. Just as the 8 goes back and forth, so does karma. What goes around comes around. Which is why whenever you meet a life path 8 or someone whose birthday adds up to 8, they are there to teach you a lesson. Whether it's a good one or a bad one is completely up to them. 8 is also the number of business and power. An 8 hates when anyone else has power over it. That's why most 8s become business owners, because they hate to work for someone else. 8 is also the number of money. But with this number, it can be either or. They can either be really rich or really broke. It entirely depends on the person. Just like every other number, there's duality within it. Everything I've said has an opposite. 8s are also sort of like time travelers. They're able to go back into their memories and vividly remember things that most people can't. But this is also a double-edged sword, because when an 8 experiences trauma, they can often throw themselves into a loop of that trauma, and it's very hard for them to get out. Tips for 8s. Learn to go with the flow. Do not try to control what you can't control. Not everyone can read your mind. If a plan doesn't follow through, it's not the end of the world. And always aim for the stars.